painting is to transfer this drawing to felt. I'm going to be using purple background for this particular picture. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have my a flat iron heating up. And I have an iron-on transfer pen. This is called a Sulky Permanent Ink iron-on transfer pen. So I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to trace. I mean, you could do it the other way too. You could actually go on top of it. Let's do that for purposes like this. And then when I flip it, it'll be backwards. So it doesn't make a difference which way you do it. But I'm just basically going to go over my lines that are on the drawing with the marker. And then we're going to flip it over onto the felt and then press on the back of it with the hot iron. Now, a lot of people have trouble with this, and myself included. And I thought it was just me that I couldn't get it to work. However, what I did discover was that the iron has to be very hot in order for it to work. So that was my discovery. Let me know in the comments if you've had other problems. And this drawing is from one of my coloring books. I illustrate coloring books. And this is from my book called the Cubism Coloring Book. And it's all about Cubism style of art and coloring pages that are in that style, drawn in that style. So these are my original drawings. And the book also has, and I'll put a link to the book, but the book also has the colored reference photos in it. My goodness, I feel like I can't talk and chew gum at the same time. All right, let's see. Plus, I have my dog Grace with me all the time, and she's insisting that she get on the chair next to me. All right, so so far we've got all of this all drawn out. Hold on, let me help her. Come here, Grace. Come on. Come on. Come on. There you go. Sit down. All right, come over here. Okay. Stay still. All right, Grace is settled. All right, so now you have to kind of keep shaking this pen to make sure the ink is flowing. The iron is heating up next to me. I usually try not to do this all in the same spot as my needle felting. I usually try not to have the iron near my computer, but here we are as I film. All right, so we've got these lines all set. Now we're gonna just flip this over onto the piece of felt. I've taken this, there's my cap. I've taken this 8x10 template that is available on my website, Manera.com, and I've just kind of reduced it just a little bit so it will actually fit on my 8x10 needle felting block. So that's the size I'm going to go with. So I'm just going to kind of roll this out a little bit because I want this to kind of, you know, be there. And then I'm going to flip this over onto my block. I am going to put a couple of pin, well, no. Yeah, I am. Put a pin here just to kind of pin it so it stays. And then I want to cut my felt to size here before we iron it. I'm not going to iron it while it's on the block though, because I would imagine it would melt. So I'm just going to trim this a little bit. Remove my block and leave this down here right on the desk. I'll just pin this a little bit here. So just so it stays. All right, now I'm pretty hot. And I am just going to leave it on there I count maybe 10 seconds. That wasn't enough time. You know, there's times I've done this and it just kind of like easily transfers. And then there's other times where I've done it and it's like, why isn't it transferring? And I've read comments in needle felting groups about the same exact thing. And I think you can kind of tell when it's transferring. Anyway, I'm not a fan of this marker. And I can kind of like peel back a little bit. Okay, it's working. And that's why I pinned it. Because I want to be able to peel back. If it was a piece of paper and I was transferring it to another piece of paper, I would probably have taped it. But since we're working with fabric, here I am pinning. So I know that I can kind of move this a little bit by just kind of holding on to that pin. Okay, it didn't get over here, but that's okay. You can kind of see as it's transferring, or the areas that have, yep, there we go. Kind of a little bit of a little off, but it's fine. No biggie. Let's get rid of this piece of paper before we start a fire. Unplug our iron. All right, now, so the next step is I'm going to pin this down to my block. And I want to make sure that, oh, perfect. What I was about to say was I want to make sure that it has enough of a border around it. All right, so I'm just going to keep pinning. My little friend Grace is with me. Grace is my English setter who thinks that she is part of this. What do you think, Grace? How am I doing? Yeah? All right, so I don't want to make it too much, but I just kind of like to put a pin in each corner and then another pin in the middle of each side. You don't want to go too crazy with pins. And I think that my lines are enough. Yes, that's fine. All right, now my goal for this is to leave this background untouched and leave it as a purple background. Now, if you take a look at, this is where what the page is, the illustration is from. This is the Cubism Coloring Book I was talking about. Let's find the reference photo that I'm talking about. And of course, you don't need to do this in the same exact color by any means. Please feel free to use your imagination. But this has 30 different illustrations, and I think they're great for needle felting projects. I have a lot of coloring books available that actually are really good for needle felting projects. I just never really realized that maybe that should be it. And it talks about, I do a little introduction about Cubism, and there's some interesting information about some different artists, Picasso, George Braque, Paul Klee, Juan Gris, and Diego Rivera. And these are the coloring pages, aka templates. I'm really interested to do, this would be a fun one, this cat. There's dogs. I'm looking for the one that's in here. Here it is. Okay, so basically, and this is available as a PDF or on Amazon as a paperback. So if you head over to the back of the book, there's a couple of things. First of all, the very back, there are some examples of Cubist paintings by some different Cubist artists. And I think that this is a really nice way to maybe use a reference photo and as kind of a piece for inspiration for whether it's a painting, a needle felted painting, or even just a coloring page that's in this book. But just to kind of get maybe, like, look at that, just kind of use that area right there to felt something in a gradation like that. So that would be interesting. But at the back of the book, all of the illustrations that are in this book are here as colored, as examples in color. So we are looking for this particular one. Here it is. And I'll have this, this is right in on the screen anyway, as we're felting. I have this. But I'm not sure if I'm going to actually use this particular color palette. I'm going to try to go as close as I can, but I also want to keep in mind that I'm going to be using this purple background. So what is going to happen when I use that purple background? So I want to keep in mind that there's also color palettes that could be used. I don't want to really, let's see if I can break the spine of this. I'll have this, it's on the screen anyway. The colored version is on the screen, but a fun way to use color palettes for needle felting. So the next thing we're going to work on is the actual felted painting. So let me make sure that I have everything I need. Check my camera. Okay, we're good. We're good. So I really don't plan my color palette, whether I'm painting or coloring or doing anything like that. I don't really do that ahead of time. So I do have this whole like kind of clump of wool here. I mean, we all know everybody's wool is kind of like, oh my goodness, right? Oh my goodness, in a mess. And I kind of just use a medium felting needle. And I don't really use the finger guards, but please make sure that you do because you might need to. Be careful that you don't want to stab yourself. I'm going to start out with this window here, with this window paint. I'm going to do this in pinks and shades of red. And oh, this is not a good needle. Hold on a second. I usually keep them back here, but it looks like I may have to open up the kit. And I'm going to just kind of turn this around a little bit. So this is my medium. And if you're new to needle felting, if you feel right there, but please be careful, usually has some barbed, here's the medium. This is the one I'm looking for. The taller one. This is kind of light. All right. So what I'm going to do is I've got my lines here, and I am going to do a solid color right in here with this window. And I'm just going to kind of... Am I not having a good time with my needles today? What is going on? Don't you love when there's someone, when you're watching a needle felted watching a tutorial of some sort, and the person that is doing the tutorial just does not have their act together? Trust me, I do. But, oh my goodness. All right, now, sometimes I like to just kind of stretch out the wool like that to kind of create that border. So we're going to see what happens if we do that. Now, if it's pulling, maybe it needs another pin. What's the matter, Grace? You getting disgusted with me? Doing a big sigh back there? And I just kind of make the wool, like, work its way around, you know? And I use this little, you know, to snip away. Very dangerous tool, that thing. I think I say it every single time. And usually when I do a needle felted video like this, I'm actually not talking. But today, I thought I would change things up a little. All right, so let's make sure. All right, so there's my very first window pane. Now I'm going to use this one here too as like a light pink. And again, I'm not really following the exact colors because I really want to make it my own. I mean, the one with the exact colors is my original drawing, my original colors, the whole bit. But So there's a pane right there. And I'm going to take some red and add it to this larger window pane up here. And all of a sudden it's getting like a Valentine feel to it. I don't know why. I didn't even think. Now you could make these go all together, but there is enough of a space there for the black lines. It's a thicker line. So if these colors are touching, like mine are a little bit, don't worry, because that is where I'm going to put my black outlines. And these will look straighter once we put that black outline. And then I want to use another color. And I want to use actually 3 other shades if I can for this particular window. This might look funky. Let's add this orangey color here to this. This is a really good felted painting to just kind of practice, you know, practice stabbing rather than having to do anything too fancy. Especially if you're new to felted painting. All right, so I've got my, needs a little bit of a trim here. Now, I do have kind of a little bit, I don't know if you can see it, but there was kind of a little tiny bit of maybe like some light pink mixed in with that. And I'm leaving it because I think I kind of like how that looks. All right, so now we've got this corner right here. And this is a darker pink than that. So I'm going to use that in that little corner right there. Snip off a little bit. All right, so there is my window. Now, rather than keeping life in suspense, I'm gonna go with this deep purple color as my window frame. And I'm going to just basically do this, okay? Now, what you could do is you could take some pins and you could kind of pin it down right there so you know the edge. And then you'll know where to snip. Or you could kind of make a corner just like that. And I want these to be kind of crisp edge lines. And I like to keep a little bit of extra around my edges of whatever I'm working on, because then I want to also think about how am I going to frame this. I've done far too many felted paintings where I did not think ahead when it came time to actually framing them, and then I was stuck trying to find a frame. And I don't really need this much right here, so I'll do a little bit of a snip there. straighten that out. I don't know what Grace is. Grace, I don't really think it's anything, honey. And again, this is kind of where my edge is of my window. So I'm just going to kind of guide myself with that pin right there. I think one of the things that amazes me the most about needle felting is how much everyone is just able to do it. It just seems so, it just amazes me that how much people just catch on to it. I don't know. Does anybody else think that? Let me know in the comments what you think about that. It just seems so... I just am amazed at what people are able to do. Do I want this little piece right here? Maybe not. Okay. Snip that away. Put another line right here. I want it to be a little bit thicker than that. Right here between. And that's what I meant about don't worry if the colors were touching, right? Because you can always just kind of go over it. And then the other part too about needle felting is that you can always take it away if something is bugging you and you don't like how it looks. So let's finish this bottom border. This has a little bit of black in it. I don't really want that. Right here. Now, as I work on the cat, I am going to be working on the areas of each section. All of the little spaces there. Oops, that did not go in. And then I'll be outlining the cat. I think anyway, this is my plan. I'll be outlining it with black. Now see, right here, I've got a little bit of purple where I don't want it. Just pull it out with the needle and take it away. Wouldn't it be fun if life was that, like that? Just don't like it, pull it out and take it away. I'm just adding a little bit more right here, just to get some purple, just to make this side wider. Are you back, Grace? All right, well, come on. Come up on your chair. Come on. Come on. Come on. I don't know if it's too thick. Oh, no, I think that looks good. Stab that into there. What do you call when you pop the needle in? Put the needle in. Stabbing, poking, felting, needling. Let me know in the comments. Everyone has a different word for it. I kind of just call it stabbing. Excuse me, Grace. All right, just kind of snip that off a little bit. And then I've got this tiny little piece right here. But I feel like this should be a little closer. Okay. This is too much here. Now, if you poke straight down, up and down in a not so random pattern, I mean a not so organized, in a random pattern, then you will be able to get a tighter felt, it'll look like it's tighter. If you start to see any type of little needle holes, then you just kind of rub it and it'll just pop out. If you want something to look like it's a little more 3D or a little more behind it, you just kind of poke on a little bit of an angle to kind of get that to stand out a little bit more. All right, so now we're going to work on, and if there's a little bit of fuzziness right there, you can kind of just snip, snip, snip. All right, so now we're going to start to work on the cat portion. Now, I'm going to start out with, I think I'm going to start out with his tail. And for that section, I'm going to do a couple of different yellows. I have this yellow. Oh, and I have this actually. I'm going to do these two. I'm going to do this like melon color and this yellow color for his tail. And I'm going to do a pattern every other. So I'm going to start out with this one right here. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I'm going to kind of clump it into a little bit of a ball. Put it in the middle. Now, I am keeping in mind what would look good, what colors would look good with this background. I'm going to pull this over to make that line. This goes all the way to here, I believe. You just kind of a little bit more right there. Kind of snip off. Snip. And again, kind of like, you know, keep poking, keep stabbing to make it so it's smooth. If you have any strays, you know, looking too straggly, then you can just kind of snip away. I'm going to make this one yellow now. I'm going to flip this back up just to kind of create that shape. So I like to think of the wool as just another medium. Just like you would use acrylic paint, watercolor paint, oil, gouache, whatever you're going to you'll use. I just like to think of it as a totally just another medium. And I've got that just nice and wide right there. Just kind of fold this back in a little bit. And here we have another one. So kind of like another technique here. And now that I'm looking at it, maybe I don't want to use that melon color. I don't know. Maybe not. You know, sometimes you just have to go with the flow. Oh, maybe he needs kind of like a bluish color. Here it is. This is like a bluish, kind of a periwinkle. Do I want that on there? Yeah, why not? What do you think, Grace? Not too bad here. This part right here. I'll put this color, this, did not expect that to come flying across. I'll put this color right here. Because we're still working on, you know, this pattern. But this is going to need something in this area to just make it pop. And this kind of is more like a triangle shape back here. So I'm just going to kind of move my wool around as I'm stabbing in to it, as I'm stabbing the wool in. Put a little bit more right here just to kind of finish it off a little bit. What's cool about wool instead of paint is that if you go in different directions, it doesn't make a difference. All right, so there is my tail, and I've got to put some of the same color at the bottom here. So I'm just going to kind of twist it a little bit, almost so it's the shape of the tail. I'm going to snip this part off as much as I can. All right, so there's my little tail. Now, don't forget, this is going to take on a totally new look once we start getting involved with the outlines. All right, now I have this area here, and I'm actually thinking I might introduce a really kind of like a brownish color down there. Yeah, this is the one I want. Okay, so this is kind of like a, I guess like a sepia or reddish brown. Have a little bit of holes right there. I just want to kind of move it around a little bit. And I'm going to just kind of shape it around this circle. And then it continues kind of around this circle up here, right? So I like the contrast or the color combo with this particular brown color and the purple background. And it looks good with the blue. I mean, certainly like any type of art, it starts to look like, it gets to that point where you're like, oh, what is happening? This is looking terrible. Now, I want to still kind of keep these, right? So keep these little colors here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this little circle right here by just kind of going in a ball with my wool, snipping. So I have a smaller ball. And I am going to put this in here first. I don't know why. Don't ask. I think it's easier for me to go, well, I could have just done this whole area with one color, but I don't know. And then I'm going to do the same thing for this particular one. so we can kind of have our eye bouncing around, create some sort of rhythm with the colors. So we've got this part here. Now I'm going to move on to this area here, and I think I'm going to introduce, I think I'm going to introduce some orange. Feels like it needs it. I'm going to put some orange right in this space here, and then I will know whether or not I want to continue with orange at the bottom. I'm going to stab down into that area, pull up, and then I'm going to kind of pull across. Sometimes I like to take the wool in the needle, swish it around, twirl it around. All right, now this is telling you that yes, in fact, I want to use my orange down at the bottom here. Now, there may be some areas that look a little bald, like right here. So I'm going to take a little bit of wool right here and stab it in. And you could actually see how these, it's kind of hard to follow the shapes. So you could take a small piece, make it like a thread, and create that edge. This way you can stay within that area. See all this right here? Twist around. And then add a little bit more in this area here. And I am thinking hot pink next to make it pop. The other thing too that will help make this pop too is white. All right, well, let's get some, I know I had brought some fuchsia over here. Oh, there it is, fell out. All right, I put fuchsia right there. And here, let's start with this one. Snip this off a little bit. Snip. And we're going to clean up these edges as we go and as we start moving along here. And now I'm going to put pink into this one, put this fuchsia color into here. Right in here. So as you can see, I am not following my own reference photo, but it's fine. because we want to just kind of go with the flow. All right, so there we go. We've got that part settled so far. And now for this section here, I think I am going to go with a little bit of pink right there to separate the cat from himself. No, that's the rest of the cat. So it's obviously a cat drawn in the cubist style. And Cubism is all about geometric shapes. I'm going to kind of flick this over to cover that bald area right there. All right, now let's see. I really like how that pink is looking, so I'm thinking I'm going to extend it across also. So we've got this area here, which, let me see. This is like a window, this comes around, and then this kind of sticks out here that it's standing on, and I'm actually going to use pink for that, this part right here, because don't forget I flipped it, so I have like a mirror image of what we're doing, just to keep everyone on their toes. You know, we don't want to make things too easy for everybody. Snip this off here, because this is going to be kind of like, you know, the edge. Oh, and I still have to do in that section there. I think I'm going to put, I think I'm actually going to put white in there. Every once in a while, I am going to add some white to this in the midst of everything. Pepper it, kind of, you know. All right, so there's my white that is around that particular little circle there. So keeping in mind having the white or having the colors kind of create a rhythm throughout the whole piece, I will add white over onto the cat. All right, so there's my white. And then I've got this little window guy right here, this little window section. And I'm not going to do anything to that yet. I'm going to actually add some white to this right here. Need a little bit more. See that right there? Gotta take that out because I don't like it. Or I can leave it and have my assistant take it out. No, I don't have an assistant. I can leave it and I can just go over it with my the outline. Do you have an assistant? Let's have my assistant take it out. All right, now let's move on to this section right here and think about kind of like what we did on this side. And we've got this orange color here that was in the window. I don't know if I want to replicate that. Actually, I do not want to replicate that. And as we move into here, so let's add some yellow onto the cat's leg for this section here. Next to the white, next to the fuchsia, and next to this brownish color. Now I'm going to go over this particular circle at the bottom just to kind of give an example of what will happen if I go over it with felt. So I'll demonstrate that right now. So I'm going to put some yellow right there. And now I am going to add, I think I'm going to add some white actually. Do I have enough white to add right there? Sometimes white is in short supply. Here it is. I'm going to make a little ball and put white right there. Right there. Can't really see it very well right here, but once we put the black outline, then we'll really see it. All right, now I'm going to actually put some white. We've got this section here. So as we move on to, we've got this, and then we've got these two things right here. They kind of come down. There's actually 3 of them. So for this one, I'm going to add some white. Snip it off, get my edge. Snip this one for my edge. I have nothing right here. It's like that's going to still remain purple in that area right there. And then we've got this little section right here. I'm going to put some pink. We have a little like, kind of a little line right there. Again, you could kind of like, you know, pin it off a little bit. But there's my little line right there. And then let's take this brownish color here and do that little bit of a triangle right there. And I'm just going to kind of snip like I would a ball, just to kind of get that shape in there. Okay, there's that area. And there's that, right? So that's part of that. And then as we move up further here, let's put some orange. People always criticize me when I say orange. You know, orange, orange. Where I'm from, you say orange. All right, so there's that little bit of orange. See that all clumpy, right? That all kind of stray, like sticking up? Twirl it. I'm going to take another little bit of pink. So it almost looks like it's connecting because there's another line right here. Well, maybe there's not another line. But I'm making another line, so there you go. Okay. And then we have this area up here. Let's add some orange up there against the edge to make that shape. There's the corner. Flip it. See how I did this? Look, here it goes. I've got my needle at the corner, pushing it in. I'm flipping around to bring it back down. I don't know what that technique's called. I'm going to do the same thing for this. I'm going to push it in, flip. Pull this in to get this whole area. Again, flip. See how I'm pulling it up so it stays within that little triangular type shape. It needs a little bit more orange right into there. And this is also going to need a little circle. I'm going to snip this off. All right, so now for that little circle, we can make it different and put some red. Why not, right? Could do whatever we want, no rules. Just to kind of make it look a little bit like a little different. And I'm going to just poke down, swirl to get it smaller, because I don't want it to be too big. There you go. Now, we are moving on to the rest of the cat. We've got this whole area here, and then this actually is kind of a triangle. Can't really tell really very good because of my crazy drawing. But this part right here is going to remain unfelted, basically, right? But we do have this little window here, so I am going to put some, I'm going to put a blue frame, like a purple frame like I did for the top window. Pull. Again, you could put a pin there, actually, if you wanted to. And then I'm going to use, where the heck is it? I'm going to use some light blue over here. Right there. Just a little tiny bit. It's kind of mixed with other stuff, but that's okay. Don't you love the wool? It's like a gradient of color. It's almost like it's marbled. Variegated color, I believe it's called. Okay, that part's done. All right, let's move on now to this section here. So we've got this whole cat here. I do want to kind of make sure that I have a little bit of something from this side. So I'm going to go with this color. Where is that? Is this the color I'm looking for? No, that's lighter. Oh, I want to use some pink in here. So I'm going to go with some different pinks over here. Ooh, dangerous. Hate when that happens. Flip around. So I'm creating that actual shape, if you will, and then filling it in. I don't really want all of this to fill it in though. And I've got this one right here. I'm going to do the same thing, like this. Stay within that shape. You know, some people create little shapes using cookie cutters. And, I mean, I guess you could kind of do that with this too. There's another one right here. Snip this piece off right here because I don't really need that anymore. All right, now I've got this kind of, this side right here with the leg. And I do want to add some more of this brown though, even though it's a little bit of a different shade right here. For this section next to the pink, this reminds me of, what's that candy that looks like these two colors? Oh, now I don't remember what it's called, but I think there's a candy that's like this. Let me know in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. All right, so there's my kind of like brownish color, right? Then I'm going to continue. There's another section. You know, a lot of people that do needle felting talk about how much their hands hurt when they're done. What do you do for that? I have that same issue. And I like to just kind of run them under cold water. I mean, cold water, warm water. Plus rest them, I guess. And have to not needle felt, but who wants to not do that, right? So, all right, so this part right here, this little, you know, triangular section at the bottom here, which is kind of easy to fill in because we're just basically filling in the space between the yellow and the green. I mean, the yellow and the pink. Yellow and the green. I was with a friend of mine one day, and I said something about a pink blanket. And I thought it was pink anyway. And finally, she looked at me a little while later, and she said, "Do you think that's pink?" I said, "I think it is." "Really?" She said, "It looks like orange to me." It's like, okay. Let's agree to disagree. Fine with me. All right, so now I'm going to move on to, everybody sees color differently. You know, the other thing is that when you're working with a reference photo, it may not look the same. You get a reference photo on the screen, and your computer screen is going to pick up color different than someone else's computer screen. So, excuse me, I'm getting the hiccups. So, it's always different. Yeah, it looks like that candy. Maybe because of the white that I added. I'm not really sure. Okay, let's add some pink over here to his little chest. He looks like he needs a name, doesn't he? We could call him Chester. Chester the Cubic Cat. Again, I'm going to poke down and pull to bring it back over. And kind of flick it over. More right here. Now, certainly you've got to kind of take a look. Do we have any bald spots? Do we have any areas that look like they need to be felted more? Do we need to kind of keep stabbing? Do we have any holes? I mean, you can kind of see to the right here that there's a lot of holes, and it's basically because I keep sticking my needle in there, which I really shouldn't be doing. But you got to take the good with the bad, so I can just smooth it out with my finger when I'm done, and we won't even see it. And we'll pretend that it's not there. All right, so we've got this section here. Now, we want to make his legs match at least, right? So I do want to add some more yellow. So let's add a little bit of yellow to this section here. I'm going to fold this in half. For this particular space. Snip this off. Pull this back in. And then I am going to keep adding some more yellow onto this part right here. So we've got this section here, then let's add some yellow right here to the bottom part of his leg. Of course, his leg kind of ends right there for his paw. And now I'm going to put underneath this area here, I'm going to put some more yellow. Right here. I'm kind of creating a pattern, but not necessarily. Can't wait to get to the black lines. To me, that's the most fun, because then it really takes shape when you start to do that. And of course, let me see here, because this is an opposite image of what's happening. We've got this, then we have kind of like right here. Push that brown back in there. How dare you come over to this side. Okay, now I'm going to add some pink to this area here that's down here. All right, so we got that hot pink there. I do want to add a little more pink right here. I'm not sure what color to add on this side right here. Oh, maybe I'll add the brown. What do you think? I think I might. Snip this off a little bit here. I'm trying not to make this video too long, but I'm going to add this pink right here. These shapes are a little bit different than the drawing. Of course, we got the neck. I'm going to add a little bit of brown here. On the whole side, I'm going to add this brown. So I'm going to put this brown right here now that I'm thinking about it. Kind of up to his shoulder. flip around, just like we were doing before. Add some more brown, because we want to thicken it, because it is that big of an area. And then into the middle of it. Kind of tidy up this edge right here. Do you think about what's bugging you while you're stabbing away? Kind of reminds me of bowling, you know? Now we've got this area up here, and I'm thinking I'm going to grab that yellow again, wherever you went. There you are. Underneath the face. Right there. Switch around. Swish around. So what do you think the addiction is, or the attraction is to this? I don't want to say addiction, but what do you, I mean, it's a good thing to be addicted to in the grand scheme of things, but what do you think that the attraction is with this medium? I think it's the ease of being able to do it. All right, now we've got the ears. Ooh, let's see. And I think I'm going to give him a pink face instead of that yellow. Should I give him a pink face? Oh, I have this section right here, don't I? Well, let's do pink on this side then. Oh, maybe I could give him that melon colored face. All right, so I've got to put some pink right here. This is not the needle I wanted. So this is kind of a triangle in a way. All right, and then I'm going to put some white over here on the side of the face. Have I missed any dots? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Not sure if I like that white one on top of the yellow, but we'll see how it looks when we're done here. Ooh. I'm getting dangerous. All right, put this right here. I usually do keep Band-Aids with me when I'm doing this. This is probably more felt than I need, more wool than I needed right there, but we'll see what happens. All right, now we're going to move on. This little thing just keeps appearing. I don't know why, but it does. All right, let's move on to, what did I say we were going to do? An orange face. So the first thing I'm going to do is this middle section here. Again, poke, turn. And then this kind of comes down to there, to the nose. And I'm going to come back up. Sorry about that. All right, now, I feel like I need to add a little bit more orange to this. Snip this off. And poke away. So there's like the middle part there. Now we have the face itself, and I'm going to make that yellow. I know I said orange, but I'm going to go around with the yellow. I'm going to poke over here. Underneath those ears. Maybe we'll make the ears hot pink. Come around like this. Even though that neck part is yellow. Oh, I don't know. Let's see. If you're still watching me, I appreciate it. I guess if you're somebody that would like to be a person that talks to themselves but doesn't really want to talk to yourself, film yourself. Film a video of, you know, a video like this and have at it. Have a conversation with yourself. All right, so there's my yellow. I'm popping in those areas. Because I have to leave room for the eyes. Now I could change this area here, but I'm not going to. I'm going to see what happens. You know, mistakes will be made, right? Like, nothing is perfect, so mistakes will be made in life. Oh, I got to get this area above the eyeballs. This little area here. Now, remember I was talking about how, you know, you work on some sort of art and there's always the point where it comes to where you say, man, this looks terrible. Well, I am at that point where I'm thinking, what is about to happen next here? Because, so I'm just continuing with this face with the yellow. And let's see, had to like clean up my area a little bit. So we have the top part of the eyes right there. Then we're going to come around because they kind of turn a little bit, kind of on a curve basis, like a curve. And then of course in between, next to the orange middle that we put in. Again, making it like a thread or like a strand is what I want to say, a strand. So as I'm putting this yellow on here, of course, I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to run out. What do you do then? Do I have to get up and get more? I think I might. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another color here underneath the eye. This kind of golden color here. just to kind of shake it up a little bit. Here's some more yellow. Because it's almost like kind of a shadow or a shading right there. All right, there we go. All right, now I'm going to pop in that eye. Let's put some yellow in here. And then for the eyes, I'm going to use a tiny bit of, where is it? This tiny bit of blue. Well, that color we used right there. And then I'm going to put a little stripe of brown. So there's his eyes. Oh, he's looking so much better with eyes. And I don't want that to go completely to the edge though. And we need, of course, the nose. I'm going to just kind of do a little bit of a snip of this brown color. And again on this side. And then let's take our fuchsia color that we had to make the nose. So across the nose is a little bit of a triangle. So I'm going to snip a little bit just to kind of create that little triangle right there. So kind of straight across the top, point at the bottom, and kind of like almost sculpt it into the shape that you want with the wool. Amazing how much different it looks with the nose. Wait till we get the whiskers. All right, so I'm going to use some light pink for the top, for the ears. Pull it down. So I think I'm still at that stage of what I said earlier that, oh my, it looks terrible. So let's hope I can pull it together here. All right, it's my ear. Here's another one. So I would love to hear back from everybody that's watching about what you think about this style or this video, and if you would like to see more like this, and if you could subscribe to my channel. This is kind of a new channel that I dedicated to just needle felting, and it kind of is also like the destination. Look at that. He looks like he's having like a bad hair day. It's like the destination video channel for also when I have some recorded videos that are available in my Etsy shop. All right. So now, remember we talked about snip, snip, right? So we want to kind of snip away a little bit of these little fibers here. And now I am ready to do what I've been dying to do here. And I'm going to use black to use for my outline. Let's make sure I have enough black. Oh, I do. Okay. All right, so this is all about just kind of adding like a strand of black, like a piece of thread. And I'm just going to kind of pull it. And just stab it in. I did some wool dryer balls and turned them into Christmas ornaments using this style with this black outline. And I have a couple of other landscape paintings that I've completed that one of them I did do this type of outline. And when I first did it, I was kind of skeptical about adding that black. But then as I got moving along, I realized that I did like how it looked. I guess when you add the black like this, you risk it looking too harsh. But it's one of those attention to details that really kind of, I guess, gives it a finished look. Trying to keep these strands like long enough to complete the whole area that I'm working on rather than having to piece it together. I'm trying to keep them the same thickness. If you're really going to be creative, you could use this type of technique with these strands to create a signature in the corner. I mean, of course, your signature. And I'm kind of just poking straight, so it's not on an angle or anything at this point. I mean, because I just truly want that outline. Need a little bit more right here. It has a whole new look as I'm adding the black. I guess you could also use yarn for this. Some people stitch it, do like a hand stitch or an embroidery stitch or machine. And I'm not taking this off the felting block until I am finished. You kind of turn it and twist it. There's a nice long one right here to go right here. See, that's not in the right spot, so you can just pull it. Snip this piece off right here because there's really nowhere else I can go with that one. Can't wait to get to the whiskers. Snip this one off. I like to kind of like twist it to get it so it is as straight as possible. Those little circles are going to be interesting. Right, I'm going to go around this one now because this kind of takes a turn. I was a little concerned about the colors that I chose for this tail, but now that I see the black, it's like it's coming to life. Oh, much better. Yeah, it's definitely changing, isn't it? You can kind of see it come around here now. Don't want to waste the felt, right? Don't want to waste the wool. The wool. What did I say, felt? I did, didn't I? Put this in here so it spins around. I'm going to spin it around again so we can go across that section there. Snip this so I can use it on another area. All right, there's another clump of black over here. Give it a snip. And continuing on. What a difference with the outline. Put this one. I thought about adding some outlines with white, but I'm going to just stick with the black. And I'm kind of bouncing around between different areas based on the size of the piece of black that I have. Should have explained that, I'm sorry. And you know, as you're watching this, or if you have any questions, please put them in the comments and I will do my best to answer the questions. Looks like there's going to be a lot of, like, you know, hairiness. Snip, 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 snip. Go around this area here. All right, so adding this black against that white really kind of enhances that contrast. some more black here. Right in this section here. Snip, snip for here. Ooh, didn't mean to snip the orange. Now this part right here, I'm just gonna kind of poke that orange down a little bit more. Put some black on top of this pink and below the pink. Those look like they needed to be touched up. All right, I'm gonna go around this little purple swing. And swing around again. So that just kind of, and you know what too, you know, like if you look at a window, sometimes you can see like a little bit of like white that would represent the glass, like in a painting. You could put that in here too. Okay, I'm gonna go around this pink color here. And then I've got to go around this brown. Around this white over here. And then we're going to start with this side here. I know I still have those little dots right there, but this was a good piece. And then another piece right here. Just continuing with these. I'm going to snip this piece off here. All right, now, what's left? Oh, I have this tiny piece right here. All right, that part's done. This needs to kind of flick over a little bit. Now I am going to add something around this orange section here. I mean, brown. Oh my goodness, that's not orange, that's brown. And I'm running out of black. That might mean that I have to get up. Don't you hate when that happens? Okay, so there's that part. And we're gonna go around this little red spot here. Here's some more black. I gotta do my best not to get up. All right, let's see here. I think I'm gonna put this right here. Oh, thank heavens, there's more black. Who feels like getting up and getting it? I don't feel like looking, because what I probably lazy, right? Come on, we've all been there. Who feels like getting up? Oh, I'm so excited. Some people get excited about, you know, traveling the world. I get excited about not having to get up and walk across the room to simply get some more black wool. Does that make any sense? All right. Now, pretty soon the whiskers. If you watched my flamingo felting tutorial, you might have noticed that I started out with a yellow piece of felt, and I was going to just keep it the way it was and not do anything to the background. And then halfway through, you know, as all of us have the ability to do, I changed my mind. And I decided that I was going to actually do the whole background. So I changed it. So, and you can also watch that right here on my YouTube channel. That was part of one of the felting challenges for my needle felting group over on Facebook. All right, so I think we have this head area almost ready for the ears. I do believe. Oh, yes, we do. We are in the home stretch here. Okay, we're almost ready for the whiskers. Put this little black coming down on the side of the middle of the face, kind of like the forehead area of the cat, I guess, right? right, moving on to the ear on the right. If I really had my act together, I would be able to do this ear all in one strand, but I'm trying to keep them pointy. It's like those cat glasses. This is what this is reminding me of. Okay, now, do have a little bit of hairiness going on over there, but we're going to clean that up with the little snips things. Little snips things, you know. Now we're going to make a nice triangle for the nose. I like how I added that darker yellow, even though I was getting a little lazy with my yellow, but I do like how I added that part. And then I'm going to do my eyes. Swing around like we did. Give it the cat look, you know, kind of a little bit of a slant. And then a little bit of black on each side of the brown area of the eye. Bet that's enough right there. You could kind of put a little tiny white dot in there if you wanted to. Make it look like, you know, how that you do that to make it look more like an eye. Get rid of this part right here. Push it over. He's looking kind of fancy. Do kind of a little bit of a slant here. See, I wanted this to have more yellow. Oh, there we go. It opened it up right there. All right, we have a little bit of black for the next to the eye, the brown part. All right, now, before I put the whiskers, I want to make sure my window is done, just in case the whiskers are in the way. And I do want to kind of take a look all through here. Have I missed any spots? I do want to kind of add a little bit of a line here, though. Almost like let the ground continue. Even though there's nothing there. Oh, you know what I should have done? I should have added a little, like, color right there. Well, we didn't. So, next I'm adding the black around my pink in this window. Wouldn't it be funny if there were eyeballs in that pane of glass? Peeking through, kind of spying on the cat. It would be fun to put a mouse maybe at the bottom. Now onto the little bit of the orangish window. Oh, this definitely needs to be this edge. And now along this edge, only because I have enough of this black right here to create that strand. And then swing around to get this top portion. I don't like how this part looks though. I'm just thinking to myself, you know, why be perfect? And now I'm wondering about that part right there, that I don't want it to be like that. Snip, snip. Gotta go around that pink one, and then we'll go on to the whiskers. Aren't the whiskers just like such anticipation? Would be funny if I forgot them. Okay, so this last little piece. I feel like I can't wait for dessert. All right, there's this part right here is a little messy. Snip, snip, I guess. Okay, on to the whiskers. Now, gotta get these needles out of here. Bugging me. Again, a whole strand. We only have 2 on each side. I'm going to start right here, and I'm going to snip the rest of that off and go out to here. Okay, so I'm going to snip this, and then I'm going to go in and snip this and poke this even more. Put this on a little bit of an angle. Whoops, whoops, that wasn't good. I don't really want them to be the exact same length, because how boring would that be? But we'll snip this right here. And then go into there, snip a little bit. Okay, now on to the next one. We're moving on to the next side. definitely want it to go past that, this white area. Might even make it a tad longer than that. A tad. Who says that? Who says that? All right, let's see. Now we're on to our last whisker. Again, kind of on an angle. And I feel like he might need to, like, no, I guess he doesn't need a mouth. All right, now I'm going to go through and just kind of rub out the little holes just by doing this to it. Get rid of my pins on the side that are all over it. I just kind of keep them underneath on the felt. And get rid of these. And just kind of clean it up a little bit. Make sure I'm finished. Now, I don't mind if there's little stragglies here and there because I just kind of feel like it gives it a little bit of character. But if you're particular about that, then you can get rid of them. And just by kind of snipping it off, and just, you want to get a tighter, might make it look tighter, I guess that's the word people use, then you just want it, just keep poking. Just keep stabbing. You know? This took way longer than I expected. But talk about relaxing. All right, I'm calling this done. Oh, I don't want this in here. Wait a minute. Let's get this out of here. Kind of poke away, snip away with this. Now, how do you pull it off? We're ready to take it off the felting mat, or the block, the felting block. Oh, I like it. Better than I thought it was going to be. All right, I'm going to take my pins out. I'll organize them this time. And I don't take this off until I'm done. So I'm done. I don't want to do anything else to it. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this one. I'm not sure if I'm going to put it in a frame. I thought about sewing it onto a tote bag. I have a friend in mind that might like this. And I'm just going to pull it off. Now, I'm just going to pull slowly, like you're peeling a Band-Aid, you know? Go easy. See all that stuff right back there? You don't have to do anything to it. I wouldn't just like rip it, like, you know, rip the Band-Aid. That's what I meant. Don't do that. Don't rip the Band-Aid because you don't want it to get misshapen. Okay. Now, it did get a little misshapen, didn't it? So if anything looks like it kind of loosened, like right here, the ears did loosen a little bit. I'm going to take my needle and I'm just going to poke it back down. I pulled too hard. Sometimes it's good to have a mistake in these videos. There we go. And now it's finished. Now, what I would like to do with this is I'll probably put it underneath something. Why isn't this close together? What is going on here? Oh my goodness. Stay, people. What is going on? Stay, pink. All right, there you go. It's okay now. All right, what I will do is probably put this underneath some books for a day. or two. And then let it sit, and that'll help to flatten it. And you don't have to do anything to the back of this unless this seems to interfere with maybe the frame you're putting it in. But I would just leave it as much as I could because you don't want it to move. And that's my finished piece. Hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed creating it and creating this felted piece. And I will see you on the next video. Thanks so much for watching, everyone.